I don't have characters in my head. It's not like that. The character is born from the intention and obstacle. They're born from the intention and obstacle, and then how the character, the tactics that the character uses to overcome that obstacle are that's what the character is going to be. With The Social Network, what I had was Mark Zuckerberg's blog post from the Tuesday night when he was a sophomore at Harvard, from the Tuesday night that he invented what they called Face Mash, okay? And it's a very angry blog post. He's very angry at a woman. I changed her name in the movie. I called her Erica. So he's very angry at Erica because he's just, in his opinion, been treated badly on a date. He's kind of been broken up with or blown off or something like that. And he writes a blog post where he narrates the rest of the night. He narrates that he's drinking and that he's drinking to get drunk. He narrates that he needs some kind of act of revenge to rid himself of this anger that he feels toward this girl. So he's just had a great idea. I'm going to create a website that compares women to farm animals. You get to vote who's hotter, this woman or this farm animal. That morphed into, wait a second, we'll put actual two women up there, two Harvard undergrads, and you get to vote who's hotter. One is only slightly less misogynistic than the other. I'm not even sure which, though. So I had that whole blog post. I wanted to start the movie by imagining the scene that came before that blog post. And in that scene, we see what Mark wants, okay? And it's something we can all identify with. He wants to be one of the cool kids, okay? He wants to be socially accepted. He wants to date girls, and he wants to get into the exclusive clubs as a way of doing all that. So his sort of macro intention, his I want, is I want to be accepted. I want a social life. What he ended up doing was building a virtual one, an artificial one, that he was sort of the mayor of this world. The obstacles toward to doing that there are a lot. You know, what's the obstacle toward building the most successful website in the world? There are a ton of them. Toby gets around obstacles. For Toby, if the obstacle is the president, Toby is a lot more direct with the president than most of the other characters, if not all of the other characters, save his wife, Stockard Channing. Toby is the one, very early on, it's in the episodes, The Crackpots and These Women, which I think was episode 4 or 5 of the series. Toby was the one who basically said, well, actually, now that I think about it, it's in a number of episodes, where Toby says, you are not fulfilling your potential. You don't pretend to be dumber than you are, to pander to all of the dumb people in America. You are the smartest person in the room. Be the smartest person in the room. Toby dresses down the president while, he's respectful of the office, respectful of the man, respectful of the room that he's in. It's often the Oval Office. But Toby's tactics are bluntness and honesty.
Toby, if you have something to say, please say it.
Richie's good for all time zones.
My family signed the Declaration of Independence. You think I've got an ethnicity problem?
Well, the line isn't between light skin and dark skin.
Yeah?
It's between educated and masculine. Or Eastern academic elite and plain spoken.
It's always been like that.
Yeah, but a funny thing happened when the White House got demystified. The impression was left that anybody could do it.
You're not telling me anything I don't know.
It's one thing that Richie came out for the Pennsylvania referendum today, but the manner in which he articulated it, his presence, the clear sign he wasn't personally engaged with the facts.
Toby.
Staff was cringing, I promise you, and we let it go.
It wasn't the moment to go.
You asked the question.
Do you have anything else?
Sir, I don't think I need to tell you that the level of respect with which the staff speaks of you doesn't change depending on whether or not you're in the room.
But
Well, there's always been a concern about the two Bartletts. The absent-minded professor with the odd dad sense of humor, disarming, unthreatening, good for all time zones. And the Nobel laureate, still searching for salvation, lonely, frustrated, lethal.
you gonna sing a country western song?
The one whose father never liked him because he was too smart.
This stopped being fun for me a little while ago.
Sir,
It was actually never fun for me. I was just being polite.
your father used to hit you, didn't he, Mr. President?
Excuse me?
Your father used to hit you, sir?
Yeah.
Not like a spanking.
He hit me. Why?
He punched you.
I'm done being polite now.
He did it because you made him mad, but you didn't know why.
Toby, it was a complicated relationship. Can I help you?
It was because you were smarter than he was.
It was a complicated
He
relationship.
didn't like you, sir. That's why he hit you. That's why people hit each other. He didn't like you. You were smarter than he was.
Why are we talking about this?
So maybe if you get enough votes, win one more election, you know? Maybe your father...
You have stepped way over the line, and any other president would have your ass on the sidewalk right now.
Yes, sir.
They'd have had you on the sidewalk a long time ago. I don't know what the hell goes on in a Brooklyn shrink's office, but get it the hell out of my house.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Leo, who's also the president's best friend, will be blunt when he needs to be, but Leo's running the place, and his character is probably more defined by his relationship to the staffers, who he kind of manipulates with a sense of humor. The staffers are almost more frightened of Leo than they are of the president. But again, that was informed by casting as well. John Spencer sadly he passed away a little while back, had a real hardscrabble street sense about him. That's not usually something we see in a chief of staff. So I didn't want to smooth that over. I wanted him to have that gruffness. I wanted to use that face that has the map of the world kind of drawn on it. And it's a real contrast with Bartlett, too, who was to the manor born, and that these two would be best friends was really interesting to me.
Ainsley,
Mr. McGarry.
Leo's fine.
Yes, sir.
Were you offered coffee or something to drink?
Yes, the woman who works out there, who I imagine is your secretary, offered me coffee or a soft drink.
Okay, so...
She was also kind enough to ask for my coat.
Excellent.
She seems to be a very good secretary.
Well, she'll be happy to hear that. She's standing right outside the door.
Ow.
So, I have to tell you, I've never seen Sam Seaborn get beat the way you beat him on Monday.
Yes, well, Mr. McGarry.
Leo?
Yes, sir. I've been thinking about that ever since your office called me on Tuesday, and I have something to say on my own behalf. If you'll permit me a moment to say it, and I understand if you won't, but I would really appreciate it if you did.
I didn't really follow that, but whatever.
I think that it is wrong For a man in your position to summon someone to the White House to reprimand them for voicing opposition, I think that that is wrong. And it is inappropriate. It's inappropriate, and I'll tell you what else.
It's wrong.
Yes.
That's fine, except you weren't summoned here to be reprimanded.
Well, then, if you'll permit me, why was I summoned?
You have an interesting conversational style, you know that?
It's a nervous condition.
I used to have a nervous condition.
How did yours manifest itself?
I drank a lot of scotch.
I get sick when I drink too much.
I get drunk when I drink too much.
Well, Mr. McGarry.
Leo?
Yes, sir. I'll ask again, for what purpose was I brought here today?
So I could offer you a job.
I'm asking because I do not think that it is fair that I be expected to play the role of the mouse to the White House's cat in the game of, you know the game.
Cat and mouse?
Yes. And it's not like I'm not, you know. The fact that I may not look like some of the other Republicans who have crossed your path does not mean that I am any less inclined toward...
Here it comes.
Did you say offer me a job?
Yes. Associate White House Counsel. You'd report to the Deputy White House Counsel who reports to the White House Counsel who reports to me.
I'm sorry. A job in this White House?
You want a glass of scotch?
Yes, please.
I think that for everyone on the West Wing, their true colors would always come out when this president was disappointing them somehow. When their idealism met reality and reality was winning or won would always be when we would see who these people were.